Everything begins within the mind. Every victory, every achievement, every act of greatness first takes place as a thought. The truth is, your life is not shaped by the circumstances around you, it's shaped by the conversations happening inside you. Every person alive is engaged in a constant dialogue with themselves, and that dialogue is either building them up or slowly tearing them down. Most people never realize that their greatest enemy is not out there in the world. It's the voice whispering in their own head. If you truly wish to develop unstoppable mental toughness, you must learn to master the inner conversation. The mind is a creative force. It believes what you tell it most often. When you speak words of weakness, you program yourself for failure. When you speak words of power, you prepare yourself for greatness. Every time you say, "I can't," "I'm not ready," "It's too hard," your subconscious mind takes those phrases as instructions and it begins to shape your behavior to fit them. But the moment you replace those phrases with, "I will," "I am capable," "I was born for this," your mind adjusts again. It begins to align your actions with that belief. This is not about blind optimism, it's about mental conditioning. The human brain is the most sophisticated machine on earth, and it runs on repetition. What you repeat, you become. The mentally tough understand this. They don't allow fear or self-doubt to dominate the internal dialogue. They consciously redirect the narrative. They speak to themselves as if they were speaking to someone they believe in, because that's what they are doing. They are reprogramming their own belief system. You see, thoughts are not just harmless ideas floating through your head. They are blueprints for your behavior. Every achievement you've ever had started with a decision to believe that it was possible. Every failure began with a quiet surrender to doubt. The difference between the two is not luck, not fate. It's the story you told yourself in the moment of challenge. And that story determines everything. When you tell yourself you're tired, you quit early. When you tell yourself it's impossible, your mind shuts down every path to progress. But when you tell yourself there is a way, your mind begins to search for it. The human spirit is designed to obey the commands of the mind. If you command it to fight, it will fight. If you command it to rise, it will rise. To master this, you must develop awareness. Begin to listen to the words you use when you speak about yourself. Catch the small moments when negativity creeps in, because those are the moments where mental weakness grows. Interrupt them, replace them. Speak power into your thoughts until strength becomes your natural state. Mental toughness starts in silence, when no one is watching and your thoughts are the only voice you hear. That is where champions are made and destinies are decided. So remember this: you cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot think limitation and expect expansion. The mind will always create what it believes. Control your inner conversation and you will control your world. Pain is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally in disguise. Most people spend their entire lives running from pain, avoiding it, numbing it, pretending it doesn't exist. But those who rise above the crowd understand something profound. Pain is a messenger. It's life's way of showing you where growth is required, where weakness hides, and where strength must be built. If you resist pain, you resist your own evolution. But if you embrace it, you unlock the power to transform everything that once held you back. Every great person who has ever achieved something extraordinary has walked through the fire of discomfort. They have faced rejection, failure, loneliness, and fear. And instead of allowing those experiences to define them, they've used them. They turned pain into fuel. You see, the difference between the strong and the weak is not that the strong suffer less. It's that they interpret suffering differently. Where one person sees punishment, the other sees preparation. Pain introduces you to yourself. It strips away illusions, excuses, and the false comfort of complacency. When you're hurting, the mask comes off, and what remains is truth. And that truth can either destroy you or discipline you. It all depends on how you respond. The mentally tough don't ask, why is this happening to me? They ask, what is this trying to teach me? That single shift in mindset transforms pain from an obstacle into a weapon. Think about it. Every time you've been tested, every time life has pushed you to your limits, you've emerged either stronger or more broken. The choice was never in the pain. It was always in the perception. Growth doesn't come from comfort. Comfort is where dreams go to die, where potential goes unused. Growth requires resistance, just as muscle requires tension to strengthen. The same principle applies to the mind. Without challenge, it atrophies. Without struggle, it remains soft and untrained. Mental toughness is built in those moments when you feel like giving up but decide to continue anyway. When you keep moving through the discomfort, something remarkable happens. You begin to realize that pain cannot destroy you. It can only shape you. The more you face it, the more you learn that it is temporary. Pain is a visitor, not a permanent resident. It will pass, but the strength it leaves behind will stay forever. The truth is, life will never stop testing you. Every setback, every failure, every heartbreak is an opportunity to build resilience. You can either collapse under pressure or rise because of it. The mentally tough choose the latter. They look pain in the eye and say, "You will not break me, you will build me." Understand this pain will visit everyone, but it rewards only those who refuse to run from it. When you begin to see pain not as suffering but as sculpting, you step into mastery. You stop fearing life's challenges and start welcoming them as necessary steps on your path to greatness. So the next time pain knocks at your door, don't hide. Open it, face it, learn from it. Because behind every ounce of pain lies a lesson powerful enough to turn weakness into strength and strength into unstoppable resilience. Emotional discipline is one of the highest forms of mental strength a person can develop. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending to be unaffected. It's about mastering them so that they serve you instead of sabotaging you. The truth is, emotion is energy. It's powerful, unpredictable, and deeply human. But when left unchecked, it becomes a storm that destroys clarity and clouds judgment. The mentally tough know how to stand in the middle of that storm and remain calm, collected, and in control. Most people are ruled by their emotions. They get angry and speak words they later regret. They get fearful and abandon their goals. They get discouraged and stop trying. But understand this. Emotions are temporary, decisions are permanent. When you allow emotions to dictate your choices, you hand your power over to the very thing that was meant to test your discipline. The greatest minds, the most resilient leaders, all have one thing in common. They act based on principles, not impulses. There will be days when frustration burns in your chest, when anxiety tightens your breath, when disappointment feels unbearable. In those moments, emotional discipline is the difference between progress and destruction. It's the ability to pause before reacting, to take a step back, breathe, and see the situation for what it truly is, not what your emotions are painting it to be. That pause, that single moment of restraint is where power lies, because it's in that pause that you choose your direction, to fall into chaos or to rise in control. When you master your emotions, you stop being reactive to life. You stop allowing external events to determine your internal state. A disciplined mind says, "The situation may be out of my control, but my response never is." That is the essence of strength. Emotional control does not mean you feel less. It means you feel deeply but act wisely. You allow emotions to inform you, but never to rule you. Think of emotions as fire. In the right hands, fire warms, illuminates, and fuels creation. In the wrong hands, it destroys everything in its path. Anger, when disciplined, becomes passion. Fear, when understood, becomes awareness. Sadness, when accepted, becomes compassion. Every emotion carries value, but only when guided by self-control. The mentally tough don't reject emotion, they refine it. They transform it into something purposeful. To achieve anything lasting, you must learn to be steady when others are unstable. When life provokes you, stay centered. When the world screams for reaction, respond with intention. That kind of composure doesn't come from avoiding emotional pain. It comes from mastering it through awareness, reflection, and practice. Each time you choose discipline over reaction, you strengthen your internal foundation. So when life throws chaos your way, and emotions rise like a tide threatening to pull you under, remember this: still waters run deep. Calmness is not weakness, it's control. The one who can stand still in the midst of noise holds more power than the one who shouts the loudest. Emotional discipline is the art of mastering yourself. And when you master yourself, no force on earth can master you. Faith in yourself is the foundation of all mental toughness. Without it, discipline collapses under doubt, persistence fades into exhaustion, and vision loses its light. Faith is not something you wait to feel. It's something you decide to have. It's a conscious act of belief, even when logic, evidence, or others tell you otherwise. The truth is, no one succeeds without first convincing themselves that they can. Every great achievement begins in the invisible realm of belief. Before it becomes a reality, it must first exist as certainty within your own mind. Most people never discover their true strength because they doubt themselves too soon. They question their worth, their abilities, and their potential. They listen to the voices of others who say, "You can't," and they accept it as truth. But the mentally tough reject that idea completely. They understand that faith is not arrogance. It's alignment with their inner power. When you truly believe in yourself, you stop waiting for permission to act. You stop needing approval to move forward. You take responsibility for your own destiny. The most dangerous form of doubt is self-doubt. It corrodes ambition, it kills opportunity, and it convinces you to settle for less than you deserve. But here's the secret. Faith and doubt cannot occupy the same mind at the same time. One must dominate the other. The choice is always yours. You can feed your doubt with fear, or you can feed your faith with action. Every time you take a step forward, even when you're uncertain, you strengthen that faith. Action reinforces belief far more than words ever could. To develop faith in yourself, you must learn to trust the process of your own growth. You will not always see immediate results, but progress is not always visible. Just as a seed must grow roots in darkness before it breaks the surface, you too must grow in silence before success becomes visible to the world. The mentally tough understand that delays are not denials, they are tests of faith. Each setback is simply life asking you, do you still believe? Faith in yourself also requires resilience in the face of rejection. The opinions of others will not always align with your vision. Some will laugh, some will doubt, some will walk away. Let them. You do not need universal approval. You need internal conviction. Remember, every revolutionary idea, every breakthrough invention, every great act of leadership was once doubted by those who couldn't see beyond the ordinary. The difference between those who succeeded and those who gave up was not talent, it was belief. You must become your own source of certainty. When no one claps, keep going. When no one believes, keep believing. The mind that trusts itself becomes immune to the noise of the world. It no longer reacts, it creates. That is the essence of unstoppable faith, the unshakable knowing that, no matter what stands before you, something within you is greater than any obstacle. So build that faith. Strengthen it through persistence, through courage, through unwavering self-belief. Because once you truly believe in yourself, the world has no choice but to believe in you too. Persistence is the heartbeat of mental toughness. It is the quiet, steady power that keeps you moving when everything around you seems to be falling apart. Talent may open the first door, but persistence keeps you walking through the endless halls that follow. Every person who has achieved anything of real value knows this truth. Success does not yield to brilliance alone. It yields to endurance. The mentally tough understand that persistence is not just about refusing to quit. It is about advancing with purpose. Even when progress feels invisible, life will test your persistence more than it will test your intelligence. There will be moments when every effort feels wasted, when results seem impossibly far, when you question whether the struggle is even worth it. That is the precise moment where mental toughness is born. You must remind yourself that the universe does not reward those who start with passion. It rewards those who finish with perseverance. The path to greatness is often long, uneven, and full of uncertainty. But persistence transforms obstacles into milestones and failures into lessons. Most people quit not because they lack ability, but because they lose faith in time. They expect instant reward for consistent effort, forgetting that growth operates on a hidden schedule. The farmer does not plant seeds and dig them up the next day to see if they have grown. He trusts the process. He works the field. He stays patient. Persistence is that same kind of faith in motion. It's doing the work even when the outcome hasn't revealed itself yet. Understand this: persistence is not stubbornness. It is not doing the same thing mindlessly over and over. It is the art of adapting intelligently while never losing sight of the goal. The mentally tough are flexible in approach, but unshakable in purpose. They adjust, they learn, they evolve, but they never retreat. They view every setback not as defeat, but as feedback. Each obstacle becomes information, guidance on how to move better, think sharper, and act stronger the next time. Persistence also requires emotional endurance. It means continuing to push forward even when motivation disappears. Because motivation is fleeting. It's a spark. Persistence is the fire that keeps burning after the spark fades. The most powerful individuals don't depend on feeling ready, they depend on their decision to continue. They've trained their minds to operate beyond emotion, to execute regardless of how they feel. That's what separates the disciplined from the defeated. The truth is, every time you persist, you build a layer of strength that no one can take from you. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. And once you experience that, you begin to understand that success isn't about speed, it's about endurance. The world often applauds the start, but life rewards the finish. So when the path gets long, when fatigue whispers in your ear and doubt tells you to stop, remember why you started. Remind yourself that persistence is not just what keeps you in the game, it's what makes you unbreakable. Those who refuse to stop cannot be stopped. Purpose is the anchor of mental toughness. Without it, even the strongest mind eventually drifts into confusion and exhaustion. A person without purpose is easily swayed by circumstance, easily discouraged by failure, and easily distracted by the noise of the world. But when you live with purpose, when your mind is guided by a vision greater than comfort or convenience, you gain a kind of strength that cannot be shaken. Purpose gives direction to your persistence, meaning to your discipline, and clarity to your thoughts. It transforms effort into devotion. Too many people live reactively, allowing the outside world to dictate how they think, feel, and act. They chase trends, opinions, or temporary pleasures, wondering why they never feel fulfilled. The reason is simple: they are living by circumstance, not by conviction. When life becomes difficult, they collapse because they were never rooted in something meaningful. But those who have discovered a clear purpose, something they believe in deeply, stand firm through chaos. They don't crumble when the wind changes because their direction is not determined by the weather, but by the compass within. Purpose has a way of transforming ordinary struggle into sacred work. When you know why you are doing something, every hardship becomes bearable. Pain becomes progress. Setbacks become steps. The mentally tough do not endure for endurance's sake. They endure for a mission that gives every challenge significance. That's why you'll notice the people who make history are rarely the ones with the easiest paths. They are the ones with an unshakable. Why? Their lives are not driven by what they want in the moment, but by what they are destined to become. Living with purpose also simplifies your decisions. When you are clear on where you are going, distractions lose their power. You stop chasing every opportunity and start pursuing only those that align with your vision. You stop worrying about how others see you because your focus shifts from appearance to impact. Purpose removes the clutter from your mind, leaving only direction and determination. That clarity itself is strength. It's the kind of inner order that chaos cannot touch. But understand, purpose is not something you find once and keep forever. It must be renewed daily. You must remind yourself why you began, especially when fatigue and frustration whisper in your ear. Purpose must be fed through reflection, gratitude, and faith. It grows each time you make choices that honor it. It fades each time you compromise it for convenience. The mentally tough protect their purpose like a flame in the wind. They shield it, nurture it, and keep it burning no matter how dark the night becomes. When your life is anchored in purpose, you no longer ask, "How long will this take?" But instead, "How far can I go?" You stop resisting challenges because you recognize that every test is part of the design. Purpose transforms survival into creation. It makes you the architect of your own destiny rather than a prisoner of circumstance. So find your purpose. Build your strength around it. Let it be the reason you rise, the reason you endure, and the reason you never give up. Because once your life is driven by purpose, you become more than determined. You become unstoppable.